But Blaize Talangi's been the big story, set to leave Parramatta, according to parramattaeels.com.au. So it's happening. Blaize Talagi and his management have informed the club that he'll be accepting an offer elsewhere. Parramatta Eels CEO Jim Sarantino said the club made a very strong offer to Blaize, which would be what, Brian? What's a very strong offer to Blaize? Tricky one.
400?
Yeah, tricky.
Or if you're going to back him, maybe he might have got 5. I doubt it. $500,000.
But it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Provided a clear path for his football future and consistently made it clear to Blaize and his family that we wanted him to be a part of the club long term.
Who's his manager? Who's his management?
I think it's Moses.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Moses, and I think there's a bit behind that and the Parramatta Eels, but I don't know. Panthers poised to pounce on Talangi in fresh blow for the Eels. So if he's leaving them for maybe the bell of the ball, so to speak, Brian, the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah. Is that so they see him as a centre? Do you feel?
I tell you, who can play.
Do you feel they see him as a centre then?
Well, I don't know. This is going to be leading me. There's a lot of conduit to these stories. We'll get to the next one. Adrian Prosenko from the Sydney Morning Herald writes this. Rising star Blaize Talagi will leave Parramatta and is poised to join Western Sydney rivals Penrith.
Oh, wow.
St George Illawarra and Newcastle were among the clubs jockeying for his signature, although the former have been told they have been unsuccessful in their bid. He doesn't miss AP, so I dare say that he could join teammate Isaiah Papali'i at the Panthers. So when I say Papali'i, they'll be teammates there at the Panthers as Isaiah Papali'i leaves the West Tigers. Penrith Panthers to hold talks with restless Brian To'o amid exit rumours. Michael Carrianis, the Daily Telegraph report. I can understand this, and I've said this as a founding member of the UPWU, the Underpaid Wingers Union. I believe that Brian To'o would have more influence than 90% of the front rowers in the game, including Stefano Utokumanu, who's commanding somewhere in the $800,000 mark.
Yep.
What do you reckon he's getting currently? And I don't know the answer to this.
$650 it says.
$650.
He's already on a deal worth about $650, which would make him the highest paid winger in the game next year.
So next year he'll be the highest paid winger on $650.
Yep.
You can't tell me that even the way Zach Lomax is playing, the wing position compared to the average of a front rower, the wingers are playing 80 minutes of the game. They're churning out the meters. They're doing this. I'll give you free membership to the UPWU.
They're not defending, Joel. They don't have to go. They drop back on tackle 4. They run back 30 metres.
Mate, Khan Pereira, right? Khan Pereira.
Don't get me started.
What would he be earning, Khan Pereira?
He'd be on 300.
Okay, 300. So the game is based on points. Khan Pereira may be in the history of the game one try away in the next 2 games for being the first player in rugby league history to get to 40 tries.
You are biased. Yeah, but who's setting him up for him?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Setting them up.
Yeah.
Last week he scored 2. Jaden Campbell, he knows he's such a try-scoring wizard. Jaden Campbell was bowling in flippers. 2 of the tries he scored, which Jaden gets 2 try assists for.
Yeah.
One was a wrong one. It hit the ground, bang. The other one was a Yorker.
Yeah.
And he still scooped it up, scored the try. Now you're going to ask me, but he's marking other wingers. Well, he has scored 13 tries since Desi dropped him, and his opposing winger in that very time has scored only 3. It is a big part of the game.
Okay, so
UPWU,
if he goes,
Underpaid Wingers Union.
If he goes, what would you pay Brian To'o? What would you pay him?
I'd pay him whatever the medium is.
No, I don't want medium. What would you pay him?
$850.
$850,000 for a winger.
Well, you haven't balked at Stefano with that.
$850. Yes, I have balked.
Yeah.
I balked at $850.
You're a fence balker.
I'm in the Balkans.
Yeah.
I think that's way too much money for both of those.
Way too much?
Way too much for both of those.
I think you're underappreciating what these good wingers do.
I'm not underappreciating. I see what they do. I've got no problem with what they're doing. Their carries, yes, they're very, very good.
Yeah, but it's also scoring the tries you don't score. What's he worth?
I think $650 is a very good wage for
Brian To'o.
Yep.
The best winger in the world.
$650,000.
Okay.
Is a good deal.
Okay. No, I'm going to say this right now. And I hadn't thought about this analogy. Who has a bigger influence on a game? Brian To'o, and this is gonna blow the board up because people are going to be torn.
Well,
Brian To'o, I have been using Stefano Utokumanu, right? But I'm going to go for a very respected forward. Who honestly has more influence of the game, Brian To'o or Patrick Carrigan?
I would say Patrick Carrigan.
Really?
Yep.
Patrick Carrigan has more of an influence on an outcome of a game than Brian To'o.
Yes, it allows Brian To'o to do the things, the flashy things, as you say, scoring tries.
Yeah.
No problem with that. Joel, he's making 2 tackles a game. 2 tackles a game.
But you're forgetting the boulder that's rolling.
I understand the bolt, but then he ducks off to the wing. Paddy Carrigan, up and back, wrestle, tackle, 40 tackles. Then he's got to wrestle. Then he's got to run 200 metres.
Brian, you're forgetting
kink chase.
the tradesman, right? So if you and
we've been down this
if
road
you and
before.
I are dealing with an S trap, and I turn up,
I only deal with P traps.
Okay, you got a P trap. We turn up. You've got an S trap. I've got a P trap, but they want both. So we're going to put both an S trap and a P trap in.
Dunny, can you text through?
And
brother?
I know how to get the job done in 20 minutes. But you're working so hard and it takes you 2 hours. Is there any reason why I should
so out of context.
Really?
So out of context.
Please.
We're doing the same job. Those two don't do the same job. If Brian To'o gets in the middle, what we should do that. Play a half each.
Mate.
Hybrid.
The front rowers are doing the nurse. I shouldn't say that either.
Oh.
But the specialist role is when it comes down to the high pressure crux of winning or losing a game, it's those wingers within inches diving and trying and saving those tries,
yes,
Brian.
I agree. But who gets up there? Who stops the middle of the opposition getting up to that end?
I get all that.
Well, I don't think you are.
Mate, Gordon Tallis was right. He said, you know why props are good players? Because they're marked by other props. I think he said that, Brian.
Gordon Tallis also said he wants Anna Reynolds dropped as captain. He's been back for one game, and he wants to put Pat Carrigan, who's been captain the whole time, and they're going backwards.
Yeah. So you don't even want Paddy Carrigan to be the captain. There you go.
No,
You're arguing against yourself.
have no say.
Arguing against yourself. Penrith Panthers, the whole talks with the restless Brian To'o. 650. That is ridiculous. Brandy on breakfast this morning said this, and he's rightly to say this.
Brian's contracted till the end of 27. So the end of 2027. So another 3 years after this one. Another 3 years after this one.
After this, that's a...
Yeah, now, the story, and I said, no, that can't be true. And it's not true. But the story seemed to grow legs through the day. The reported unhappiness or not happy with remuneration, which means money, is certainly news to the club. Absolute news to the club. No one's spoken to... I'm part of the recruitment and retention committee. Brian To'o's name has not been raised in terms of, let's shop Brian To'o around. That has not happened, not a mention. Now, the club, Matt Cameron will obviously speak to Brian and his manager today, but he is contracted to the end of 27. There won't be any early release for Brian To'o, under no circumstances.
Okay, that's fair enough too. And this won't be properly squashed, or as you say, the bigger term, quashed, right? Until Brian comes out and says exactly that he won't be moving. But I do agree with Brandy. So he's saying that he's contracted at the end of 2027. So at some stage, Brian To'o, when he signed this $650,000 allegedly deal, he would have been rapt to sign that, wouldn't he? At the time, you're popping champagne glasses. I've signed for $650. So I do understand the club's position that, okay, yeah, your shares have risen. That's fine. But you also agreed to this at the time. So I could understand why Penrith would put their feet in the sand, no pun intended, with your wacky team Wednesday, Brian.
Yeah, I'm sure if Brian To'o's management went and said to Brandy or the retention committee, it says, look, if he is on 650, this is the way I would handle it. If I'm the manager, I say, look, mate, he's been offered 800. Can we just bump him up for can you give him another 50, another 100? Another 75 just to keep him sweet?
I know, but it's such a... I can understand both sides. I can understand Brian To'o wanted more money, but at the end of the day, he thought it was a great deal at the time.
Well, he hasn't come out and said it.
No, but we must know that he thought it was a good deal because otherwise he doesn't sign it.
But he hasn't come out and said, I want to get out.
No, but
I want the money.
But this is not going to stop until he does that.
Yeah.
And then what's sort of further amplified is the fact that Blaize Talagi has gone there, and people start going, okay, Casey McLean, we like him.
We do like him.
A bit of Steve Critter.
Yeah.
We like him.
I like him.
Yeah.
I liked him in the centres.
He looks good. I tell you what. I tell you what. Most of our callers. Sorry, tourist. Okay. Most of our callers are with the Front Rowers Union.
The other thing too, do you think Jerome Luai has just said, "Mate, I can get you another 200." I've had a chat to.
Yeah.
I've had a chat to Richo.
Okay.
He doesn't want to go to the Tigers, though, does he?
Why wouldn't he?
If he's won 4 in a row.
Yeah. But what's the if there was a draft like auction as per the NFL? If there was an auction like the IPL, what would Brian To'o command at the maximum, regardless of any club?
I think that's really high for a winger.
I've got 850 in my head.
850.
He would get 850 on the open market.
850.
Of course he would.
I don't.
What does Pat Carrigan get on the open market?
I don't think so.
What does Pat Carrigan get?
He's around the 800,000.
Would he get 850?
825.
And Brian To'o wouldn't get 825.
I don't think Brian To'o would get 825. I wouldn't pay. And he is a terrific player, terrific winger. I can't get it through my head giving a winger $850,000.
I know you can't.
When your salary cap
yes
is, what is it, 12?
Yeah,
13,
but that's where people, and this is where Zach Lomax doesn't want to play on the wing, and this is where it's wrong.
Okay, Sugar, what we've seen with Brian To'o.
I'm not even a winger. I played 51.4% at fullback, Brian, so I'm not even defending wingers as a winger.
When we see Brian To'o doing his thing, which is fantastic, he's playing in a team that's won 3 comps in a row, or he's playing in a team who just won an Origin series.
Yeah, I get that.
He has terrific players around him.
Yep.
The reason why he's making those because when you're playing against Penrith, you don't know where to kick. Or someone's coming out. Is it Dylan Edwards?
That is also true.
I got to double team Dylan Edwards.
That's also true.
I got to double team Brian To'o.
Sonia Taruva. It's also true.
When he's playing for, just say the Tigers.
Yep.
I'm saying kick to Brian To'o, and every time he gets the ball, we're just going to man up. We're going to 3 out him.
Okay. Now that's also
where you
true.
Can't do that.
That's also true.
When you're playing against a team of superstars.
So the converse could also be true. Patrick Carrigan, if he was at the West Tigers, and we're picking on the Tigers here, but if they were having a slow start, being manhandled in the middle, the kicker's been put in the corner, slow start, how would Pat Carrigan's game be influenced by the same thing?
I think he won his leadership.
Yeah. Brian To'o's not a great leader?
Well, no, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Brian To'o's leadership.
You can see he's infectious.
Yeah, well, he should go and get that checked out at an Nepean Medical Centre. Yeah, maybe he's been swimming in the Seine. Maybe he's just swimming through. We had a good text here from the barn.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then.
Hang on, I want to read
this. If you could keep Blake Laurie, who's a friend of the show, or Zach Lomax, who would you keep?
Zach Lomax.
Why?
Zach Lomax.
Why?
Why would I keep Zach Lomax?
Over Blake Laurie?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Because he contributes more to the team.
Yes.
Than Blake Laurie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm being honest.
Okay.
So hang on. You've gone from Pat Carrigan to, no offence, to Blake Laurie.
Yeah.
No offence to you, Blocker.
Yeah.
They're not in the same stratosphere.
But Zach Lomax wasn't in the same stratosphere when he was playing in the centres either.
Well, he had talent.
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
Australia's got talent.
Oh, you're just pushing this winger thing.
1170. If you want to sign up to the UPWU, I've given away free shares.
Around the grounds.
Jump on the call line if you're part of the UPWU, or even so, the OP front row.
Yeah, look at this. The Bermuda. F. Duffy. Floris Duffy, not paying any tax down there in Bermuda. She's just knocking around in shorts and really high socks like a bus driver.
Yeah, exactly right.
And what about the cheetah? The girl that jumped out fairly, she's nowhere to be seen. So, ladies and gentlemen, cheaters never prosper.
That's exactly right. Call of the Day 2 wins a Klein Tools mini ratchet and multi-driver set. Get the job done right with Klein Tools. Trusted by trade professionals for quality and durability since 1857. And I'm throwing in a free UPW Underpaid Wingers Union membership for at least 18 months. Jump on the call line now, 1300 01 1170.